Hi everybody, welcome to my channel, A Day in the Life of Rhea. If you like all things travel, please hit the subscribe button down below along with the bell so that you can be notified every time I upload a new video. As you can tell from the title, today's video is going to be about how I decided to move abroad, and I pulled it off actually within 6 months time. Okay, so let's jump right into it. So I've always dreamed about moving abroad, and I have a lot of things that I like to do and want to do and hope and dream and desire to do, but I have a lot of fear. I have a lot of self doubt. So I've been working on trying to get over those, and I'm happy that I've actually pulled this off, even though with the coronavirus it kind of didn't work as planned. So when you want to move abroad, there's a lot of research that you need to do and a lot of planning that needs to go into what you're trying to do. I had decided that I wanted to teach. That was one of my, dream jobs that I thought that I wanted to do. So I did a lot of research on the different schools that I could go to, and I had got me an advisor with ITA, and I had been conversing with him, and he was telling me all the information that I needed, and I was just still wondering if it was something that I should go ahead and act on. And so I decided that I wanted to actually visit the country that I was going to move to, which is Cambodia. And so I got my ticket. I actually came to Cambodia for my birthday trip last year in July, and I loved it. So I'll show some footage for that. Okay, so I took the trip to the country that I wanted to move to, and I liked it, but I was still pondering if it's something that I should do. I always have a lot of ideas, and I never really act on them. I just, live with so much fear sometimes, and always afraid to make the wrong decision. And so, I got back home and toyed with the idea, back and forth in my mind, and, having certain jobs and being stuck at a job that you really don't like and always wanting something different, I was stuck with that feeling. So I guess being tired of stuck with that feeling and knowing that you want more, it just helped me take that leap of faith. And so, every day I would be stressed out at work, and I just held on to the idea of being able to move abroad. And, I would just look at my pictures sometimes from my trip just to motivate me to hold on until the time finally came that I could leave my job. And so, I saved up some money to be able to pay for school. I went to school in Cambodia. So I put the down payment on that, and I started saving up to be able to live because, you need the money to be able to get your flight and to, start you off while you're in school and while you're waiting to find a job. You need money to be able to take care of yourself. So I'm saving up for about 6 months, and, I put in my 2-week vacation. That's just my normal way that I leave a job, I always make sure I put in 2 weeks of vacation. That way, when I put in my 2 weeks notice, I'm just gone. And it's just an easy transition for me to leave. So I was just counting down my days, and I was so happy the day that I left work after putting in my 2 weeks notice. I turned in my key, and I had already ended my lease about a month prior to that. And I got rid of a lot of my clothes and shoes and things like that. And at the very last minute, just before I was leaving for my flight, I was trying to figure out what I was going to leave behind or get rid of or take with me. And at that moment, it was surreal, I guess. And so I got to the airport, and it started sinking in, I guess. And I always traveled alone, so that wasn't an issue for me. And I got here. I had already been to the country, so it wasn't like a whole new cultural shock at that moment. And I got there a few days before my welcome dinner was supposed to start for my school. And I was just getting accustomed to the neighborhood and everything that was around me. So after we went to our welcome dinner for school, we had that whole weekend to get all the partying out of our system. And it was actually during New Year's that our class was going to start. Right. Okay, so school was pretty easy, starting out. And like I said, it always is in the beginning. And I didn't really have to deal with my social anxiety issues in the beginning of class. But once you have to get up in front of the class, that's when my anxiety starts kicking in, and I'm rethinking if this is something that means enough to me that I can overcome those fears. And I did the exercises and the PowerPoints and everything that I needed to do. And, I was so happy. I would treat myself with food and whatever else. Once I got through the day of class of, something that was so stressful. And then, we had to actually go to different schools and different grades and, teach, practice teaching in front of the teachers and the students and everything. And, it was so stressful for me, and it just is mind-boggling to me that, a lot of people, they don't have to deal with those fears. It's pretty like debilitating almost, where, or disabling. Like, it stops you from being able to accomplish your goals because you have so much fear and anxiety, just to present yourself in front of a lot of people. And, I would be so emotional sometimes because dealing with social anxiety is really hard. And, to be around people who don't seem to really understand where you're coming from or understand your fears, and they're just so happy-go-lucky and seem to be able to get everything done fine without those fears and worries that I have and that I was struggling with. And I couldn't even interact with my classmates a lot of times on the way to the schools to do our teaching practices because that fear and anxiety was just taking over. And, a lot of times I thought about giving up, but, I came too far. And, a lot of times like I said, I have a lot of dreams and goals and, things that I want to do. And I always talk myself out of it. And this time I actually went through with it. But, in the middle of it, I had to face my fears, and I faced them alone. And, I got through it. And, I was so happy. I was so happy to finish my teaching practices and, all the issues that I had with, my actual paperwork and stuff to, get graded and stuff in school. I finally got that out the way and finally passed my class and was waiting on my certificate. I got my certificate. And I actually got a job maybe about 2 weeks after I finished my school, before my certificate even came, my TESOL certificate. So, it was a struggle, it was a hurdle, but I was glad that, I stuck with it and got through it. So I started teaching second and third grade students, and at first they was trying to have me teach seventh grade, and no, that's just not something that I was going to accept at all. My passion was with little children, and I'm glad that I spoke up about it and was able to teach second and third grade students. So I was being held accountable for my students' behavior. They didn't like to stay in their seats, and they would talk while I was teaching, so having to learn how to have control over your class, that's a part of teaching. And that's something that I had to really work on, and it was even noted in the beginning, when I was doing my teaching practices, that would be something that I would have to work on. So after a while, the children's behavior, it started to take a toll on me, and I had to, not only take time outside of the classroom to, work on getting my lesson plans done for the whole week. We had to submit our lesson plans for the whole week for all of our classes that Monday before our classes started. And, sometimes the computers would be acting up, and I would be stressed out trying to get things printed out, and other teachers are trying to get things printed out as well, and we were just using one computer and one printer. And so I'm the type of person, I get stressed out pretty easily, and everything was starting to take a toll on me, within the first month. Like I said, I started February 3rd, but Corona hit, and I was only teaching for about a month and maybe a week and a half. Less than 2 months I was teaching, and the kids were out of school. And our future, for teaching, we didn't know how things were going to go, and they would wait till the last minute to let us know any important information that we needed to know. So at the end of the month, I think March or the middle of April, the first week of April 6th, they told us that we had to start teaching from home. So I only taught from home from April 6th till April the 15th, and they called me in the same day and let me know that would be my last day teaching. And when I got back home, I saw a note on the elevator. Yeah, I never even, explained or talked about, how excited I was to get my new place. I had a nice little balcony, and it was a nice little place. It had a pool that they were building, and, I was just settling in to, the whole fact of moving abroad. I had finally did it. I went to school. I started teaching. I got my place. And then less than 2 months after it all started to come together, it all fell apart. So yeah, I had got back from them telling me that would be my last day of teaching online, and that I would only be getting 50% of my pay. And then I get back to my place and see a note on the elevator, and they said that they are happy to have sold the building to new owners. And the new owners, excuse the bug, the new owners wanted everybody out at the end of the month, and the previous owner asked me if I could move out in a week's notice. So, a week's time. So I lost my job and I lost my place pretty much on the same day. And this happened to me 3 years prior. So yeah, that was pretty stressful, but I think I dealt with it kind of well. So after losing my job and my place, I had to figure out my next move, I guess. So, I was, at a point in my life where I was really trying to stay positive. No matter what happened, I was always trying to stay positive and look for anything positive that I could hold on to. And so, by the end of that week, I was packing up my things and I started staying at the hotel that I was staying at before I got my place. And so, I was just relaxing pretty much and focused on being positive. And I even moved to a whole different city a couple hours away. And, I even enjoyed my birthday and I just wasn't stressing. And, now I'm at the point where out of the blue, my school reached out to me and asked me, was I coming back for the next school year? And, I hadn't even considered teaching a second year. I didn't even get to really teach the first year. And so, it was only supposed to be until the end of this year that I was going to teach and that I was going to transition to, try to figure out something else that I wanted to do. And now I'm at a situation where I don't know if I should follow my mind or follow my heart. If I follow my mind and, take this job or keep the same job that I had, for financial stability or job security, versus trying to go out into the world and focus on other things and other projects, but, it might not be financially a good decision because I don't know how that's going to turn out. So now that I am faced with this hard decision, it's stressing me out and I just don't know what to do. I don't know what my future holds. And, that has been my experience with moving abroad. And, somebody asked me if I knew now or knew then what I know now, would I still have done it? And, I took a little time to think about it and I would, even though it didn't work out thanks to Corona, it still gave me hope or gives me hope knowing that, I came out here and I did my best and, I just don't regret it. Okay, so I rambled enough. But before I go, I think I'm going to start something new on my channel where, I have people comment down below if you have any fears or you have anything that you struggle with that kind of prevents you from doing the things that you want to do. You can comment down below and I'll try to give you some advice and encouragement. And also, if you have any questions about traveling or moving abroad, you can put them down in the comment section and I'll try to get back to everybody. If you've made it this far, thanks so much for watching. And if you haven't subscribed yet, hit the subscribe button and the bell so that you can be notified when I upload any other videos. Bye.